Welcome to Empower Hour. Let's get growing. Good morning, everyone. Prosperous Jen in the house. And I made the leap from career burnout to building a business that fuels my freedom. And now I help other high achieving professionals escape that golden cage and do the same. I've walked that path myself, and every strategy that I share is battle tested and built to get you moving today. Yay, comments coming in. So if you are ready, and Jose, drop the scrolling thing, please, to get started, just drop ready in the chat or DM me, and I will send you my 6-figure blueprint that is straight from my Beyond Limits program that is helping people just like you get unstuck and get that business launched in 6 months. But in addition to working with professionals who are transitioning into entrepreneurship in my Beyond Limits program, I get to work with some really amazing, high-achieving private clients. And today's guest was introduced to me by one of my favorite people, private client, David Vogel, turned friend. And he introduced me to today's guest, who is also a client turned friend. And I just feel so grateful to be a part of their journeys. So before I introduce our guest today, I want you to just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths and just listen to these words that I'm about to say and allow them to sink into your soul, because I know so many of you that are watching today are stuck and wanting to launch or wanting to grow or wanting to do something. The version of you, that future self that you envision and that you desire so greatly, it already exists. The version of you who started the business, the version of you who didn't wait to feel ready, the version who decided to become an entrepreneur before having the proof it would work, that future self, they're not smarter than you, they're not more talented, they don't have more resources. They just made a different decision about their identity today. And today's guest exemplifies this better than anyone I've ever met. He made that decision. He didn't wait until he knew how to build a business. He decided who he wanted to become and figured it out along the way. And today he runs a top 500 franchise. But most importantly, he's proof that you don't become successful and then start acting like it. You start acting like it, and then you become. So if you're stuck right now, I promise you it's not because of a lack of resources. It's because you haven't closed the gap between who you are and who you are capable of becoming. And my guest today is here to show you how he closed that gap. So please help me welcome Andy Zapata. Yay!
And thank you so much for that introduction. I mean,
Please.
Wow, what an amazing introduction. And 100%, I agree with everything you said, because everything that you just said is like what I've been going through without knowing. But now that I know the terminology of like that these tools exist, you kept saying something, the version of you, the version of you. Every step you got to become a different version of you. And we're going to talk a lot about how to become a different version of you. But, who do you want to be? That's it. That's what it starts with. Who are you?
You have to start there.
And you got to bridge that gap, like you just said.
I say so often, everybody thinks that they have vision. And yes, you have vision to like what show you're going to watch tonight and what you're going to eat for dinner and maybe how you're going to get the kids where they're going to go. And then some people go a little bit further and they have vision to plans for the weekend. And then some people are really good at having vision towards the next vacations, but then it kind of stops there. And really, we have the power to visualize exactly the life that we desire. And we're both living that. But honestly, if on paper or our backgrounds or where we came from, reality would have said that doesn't happen for you guys. But we made different choices. And like your story is incredible. So, can I ask you a couple of questions?
Absolutely. That's what we're here for.
All right. So, what was the exact moment, right? So, well, first give a little bit of your background, right? You started, tell the original story.
I'll tell you where I'm at now, and then I'm going to go backwards so you understand how I got here. So right now, I own one of the biggest radio stations in South Florida. It's a news station. It's a ginormous radio station, politics, news, very big relationship capital with mayors, senators, governors, um, congressmen, like everybody who's who in our city or in our town, in our state has to come through my radio station if they want to get elected. So it's very powerful. But before that, that's kind of like my little baby now. But before this, we also own one of the top 500 franchises in the country, one of the second biggest, largest franchise in physical therapy. I'm an occupational therapist by trade. I started in 2003. I also own a giant home health company with over 100 employees. I own an MRI franchise at this time. Right now, we have two franchises rocking. It's brand new. We have a software company that has doctors across the country using our software, and also Puerto Rico, Canada, Colombia. We have that's also another little baby of mine. That's a software. It's a medical software company. We have a wound care company that we're helping people cure wounds, advanced wound care across the country. And people are like, Andy, what are you doing? How do you have all these companies? Well, you set the right systems and you set the right people, and it should run by itself if you have the right accountability. And that's where you came in. You helped me a little bit. But here's how this whole thing started. I graduated. I didn't know what I wanted to do in high school, less in college. I was a wrestler. I was high school. I got a scholarship to go to wrestling in college, and I got injured. And during my injury, I had a really bad back pain, herniated disc. I went to physical therapy, and I was studying pre-med. I still didn't know exactly what kind of physician. And when I went to physical therapy, I fell in love with the way that they treated me. They were so happy. I did a few internships in a few doctor's offices, and everybody was like, Andy, don't become a doctor. It's like 9 to 5 type of job, and you're too creative for this. And I followed those young, doctors at my age were like, don't do this. And, I wanted to be kind of free and creativity and, just do my own thing. And they said, you need to do something else. So I became an occupational therapist, kind of in the same realm as physical therapy. But right early in my career, I noticed that I could only help like 8 to 10 patients a day. I was like, how am I going to help millions? This is impossible. So I'm like, I want to help. I want to cure. I want to give people what they gave me. But how can I only do 8 a day? If I do 8 a day, that's really like 8 a month because they come several times a day. That's like, I'm going to help like 100 people a year. This is crazy. This is what I want to do in my life. And then I started figuring out the business, and I started figuring out, how to help bigger and more people. And I decided, I'm gonna sit back, and I'm not gonna be the therapist. And by the way, I started this whole thing with a credit card that my mom had for advertising. I was 23 years old. Listen to this, Jen. I was 23 years old, and there's a little post, a little mail that comes and says Capital One, $10,000 pre-approved. And I was 23 years old. I still didn't have money in the bank. I didn't have a job. I was like, I was still going to school. And I tell my mom, you have $10,000. I just graduated college. Like, can I borrow that money so I can open a business? She's like, no, we're very humble. We're very, low income, almost poverty level family. And she says, no, I don't want to get in debt. I don't want to give you that money. I'm going to have to get in debt. I'm like, Mom, listen, I went to high school. I graduated high school. I went to college. I just graduated college. You're not going to give me $10,000 to open a business. She's like, nope, I'm not going to get in debt. But I didn't give up. And I kept asking her, Mom, please. Finally, 2 weeks later, she says, okay, if I sign this, will you leave me alone? I said, yes, I will leave you alone. She signed it. No lie. Within 2-3 weeks, we got a credit card with $10,000 in it.
And your mom is now a franchise owner, right?
My mom, no, my mom is one of the franchise directors at one of the.
Okay, but your brother's
But
a franchise owner.
basically, she owns the whole thing. My
I was
brother,
going to say, because I've seen her in the office,
my
looking
brother,
fabulous, by the way.
almost all my family members own a franchise and very successful. I'm very grateful for them to trust me and all that stuff. But my brother, my brother-in-law, my brother-in-law's sister, my wife, my mother-in-law, everybody works for the company. It's a beautiful thing. A little challenging, but it's also a beautiful thing to see them
Absolutely.
succeed in this.
Absolutely.
You have to
All
have
right. Well,
some.
first, let's say hello to everyone out there at LinkedIn, everyone on Instagram, everyone on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got David Vogel here singing your praises. Nancy, good morning. Andy, absolutely. We love direct mail. All these comments. Let's see. I can't see them all. Oh, here, I can see some here. Helena is an aspiring entrepreneur. I know she's logging in here today looking for some really great inspiration. Good morning, Tracy. Love you. Really great to see you guys. We're going to get into your amazing wife a little bit later. I don't know if she's here, but that's a great part of your story. And, I actually cried yesterday when we were talking about it. But let's get started a little bit with the mindset. What was that exact moment you decided to stop planning or thinking or like, I wish, and just start, even though you probably didn't feel ready, you didn't have enough money, all the things that we all encounter? What happened that you just said, I'm doing it?
Well, here's what I remember thinking when I was back, 23, 24. What's the worst thing that can happen? Am I going to die? I always go from like the best to the worst. Am I going to die by trying? No.
Yes.
Am I going to die? No. So who cares? Just try. Like, am I going to lose money? Yes. Am I going to lose time? Okay. But am I going to die by opening a business? No, nothing's going to happen. So if nothing's going to happen to my body and my soul, then just try.
Yeah. I just gave that same exact advice to a potential client last night who's like so afraid of failure. And I said, walk through the worst case scenarios. If you're doing what you love, but yet maybe you don't have enough clients and you don't have enough money yet, how bad is that? I mean, that's the worst case scenario. So I love that.
Yeah, you got to go all the way to the extreme. Am I going to die? Now, there's a lot of fear, and we're going to talk about fear and what that means. But yeah, I mean,
great. I have a perfect question for that. So you have said in our conversation that you have made every mistake possible. So what was the biggest mistake that almost made you quit, and how did you push through it?
Oh, that's a big one. Big mistake. Okay. Not knowing how to manage the team, not knowing how to motivate the team. You become an entrepreneur to kind of have more time, have more freedom, and all of a sudden you get stuck fixing every single little thing, and all of a sudden you have a job and you don't have a company. So you like, oh my God, is this what I wanted to do? Did I want to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week? This is crazy. But then you start learning. I mean, if you have the right team, if you have the right mentors, if you have the right people around you that surround you that are a little bit higher than you at this moment, I'm telling you, this is not how you do it. And you have to be able to listen to people that are ahead of you and listen to people that have gone through that. Because a lot of times when you're an entrepreneur, you think you know it all. And you stop listening to people, whether they're higher than you, more successful, lower. Like you're like, oh, this guy has nothing to teach me. No, you got to listen to everybody because everybody will teach you a little bit. But here's the moment that I almost quit. I remember being infested by sharks. I was by sharks. Once you're making a lot of money, people from every angle are going to sell you everything from SEO to SEM to this to that. And they just want your money. So you have to be able to like just rule out the noise, take out the noise. Like what's working? What am I going to do? I said no a lot. I said yes a lot. I lost a lot of times. I tried a lot of things. A lot of things didn't work. But I'll tell you what worked in marketing and what didn't work. Everything works a little bit, but what really works is building relationships. Building relationships and ecosystem mergers with the people that you can grow with, people that you can do things with, people that can benefit from you and you benefit from them with an equal agreement and a clear alignment. That's what works.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is going to answer your question, Nancy and Tracy. I'll get to your question. So how did you deal I say, and I know the answer to this question before you give it, but I want to hear you say it. How did you deal with the fear of failure when you were risking everything? But more importantly, what was your mindset? Because I know that you actually don't have a fear of failure, and that's just a fact. Okay. And not everybody's born with that. So try to think of the people who do. So, what is that mindset that gets you to that place where you just have no fear?
Wow. I know what it is now. Back then, it was pure grit. It's like, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going. Just keep going. And just, there's a saying that just show up and things will magically happen. It
So
just
true.
happened. It's called
The
grit.
path of years.
It's called grit. Just show up and keep showing up and keep doing it and keep doing it. And while everybody quits, oh, look at this. I want to become a real estate agent. Then I want to become a broker. Then I want to become a closer. Then I want to become this. And then you start jumping, and you have the shiny object syndrome. And 5 years go down the line, and you didn't do anything because every 3 months you jump to another idea. Yes, I'm not saying no. I have a little ADD and ideas as well, and I'm a big visionary. But you have to
Big?
I'm a big visionary. But you have to have one that you don't deviate from. It's like, I'm gonna go full throttle for this, and if I want to dabble in this, doesn't mean I take my eye off this. This is my main thing. But you can dabble in different things. I don't suggest that because you lose focus. But if you're gonna go in and never leave that lane. Keep that lane going. Keep that energy flowing. But if you want to say, hey, I want to invest in crypto, I want to invest in real estate, I want to invest in this, I want to build homes now, you can. Just don't keep your eye off the main road.
I love it. So Tracy has a question. She said, what proves to you that the clarity comes after the action and not before it? So that goes to that, like, just take action and the path opens. How did you know that? Because I think that people want the results, or actually they're looking for like the seas to part and everything to be like, yes, it's time, you're ready, right? And it's like, just keep showing up, and having faith is a big part of that. That's my answer to that question. Like, you just have to know that as long as I keep moving forward, it will work out. How did you know?
It always works out, and I never know all the answers. There's a saying that says there's guys with incredible ideas for this world, to make this world a better place, but they never do it because they're scared and they don't have all the answers. If you just start, the answers will come. The answers will come. Just keep showing up and the answers will magically appear, because you're going to be surrounded around people that know the answers. You're going to be surrounded about people that are already in the industry that can help you. Don't be scared to ask questions to people. But I never have all the answers. I started this franchise not knowing anything about the rules and regulations of franchising. And there's thousands of rules and regulations. We're regulated by the Federal Trade Commission. I didn't know any of this. But I said, I'm going to open a franchise, and I just kept showing up, and the answers will appear. Don't wait until you have all the answers, because you'll never start. And that's the fear. And let me tell you something about fear. Now, we had a big little question a few minutes ago. Now that I'm into personal development, and I found that at 40 years old, I wasn't like this. My thing was just show up. That was my personal development. That's all I knew. Show up and things will happen. But now that I understand fear, now that I've studied, now that I've had coaches and mentors like you and other incredible coaches, fear of failure comes from ego. Because when you're like, I don't want to try that. I'm gonna fail. Well, what happens if you fail? What happens to your ego if you fail? Your ego gets a little hurt, and you don't want to feel that pain. And the ego is like, I'm a failure, so you rather not try because you don't want to feel the pain. And so that's my thing of fear. Like, have no fear is very easy to say, but really, what happens behind the scenes with fear? And fear of failure. This is everything. By the way, this is everything in one sentence. The fear of failure and fear of rejection are going to hold you back from your success. So if you can just rewire yourself and say, there is no failure, there is no rejection, your whole life will change. Because there's only one person that can reject you, and that's you. Nobody can reject you. And then you start having that scarcity mindset that says, okay, if I fail, so what? If Jen doesn't like me, so what? If Jen tells me to screw off, who cares? If this person in the store tells me no, okay, who cares? Next. And that mindset is what success is all about. So you mix grit, showing up, no fear, Scarcity is like, okay. And those are magical pieces of the formula to succeed. But that's all you need to get started. Everything else will come. Everything else will come if you just show up.
I love that. I'm going to tell a really quick story. I had the pleasure of hearing live the gentleman who the movie that Will Smith starred in, The Pursuit of Happiness, and I should know his name, but I don't. But it's basically who that movie was about. And so he was homeless, black, and living on the streets with his son in homeless shelters. And he would get his kid to school and then he wanted to be a stockbroker, and they all kind of laughed at him, stuck him in the boiler room, and he just started calling billionaires. He didn't start at the bottom. He started calling billionaires every day. And he had this one billionaire in like multi-billionaire in Texas. And he would call him every day. And the first like 6 months, he hung up on him. After 6 months, the guy was like, all right, you got grit. So how you doing? Everything good? And they would just talk. And then after like 8 months to a year, he gave him some business. And after like 18 months, he gave him all his business. Then finally, the guy says, I think it's about time we meet in person. So he flies him out to Texas. He walks into the billionaire's office, and the billionaire looks at him and goes, well, it's a good thing we didn't meet first, because had I known you were black, I never even would have given you my business. And they started laughing. But that is the point. He didn't give up. He just showed up, kept calling, kept showing up. That is a long time. If you have no money, you're homeless, living in shelters. He's not like, I'm going to go work at McDonald's because I need to pay the bills. And I'm not knocking any of that. Okay. You got to do what feels right for you. But he didn't do that. He didn't let the fear get in the way. He went right to the top and just showed up. And of course, he got some little accounts in between that. But I just love all that. So Andy Pinto has a question. Chris Gardner. Yeah, that was his name. Chris Gardner. Such a great story. Powerful speaker. So Andy says, I have a big network. He has the best product, service, and pricing, which I can attest to, in direct mail. But business owners use inferior vendors and waste money. Tell him how he can close them.
This is huge, Andy. This is huge. Pay attention. You have a giant network. You have an audience. This is the most important thing that you already have. You need to learn how to influence people. You need to learn the magic of influence. How do you influence people? There's a formula to this. You have to be able to connect with people, build relationships, build friendships, build ecosystem mergers. For example, you have another company that could benefit from you. Learn how to build relationships where 1 + 1 = 3 or 5 or 10 or 10 million, because you have to learn how to build ecosystem mergers and how to build relationships. If you have a big network, it's just about, hey buddy, how you doing? How's your wife? How's your kids? And building that connection with people is going to take you above and beyond the cheap vendors that they're using. Forget about those vendors. Listen, I could put a physical therapy, a medical center, a spa, whatever I want to put next to another one, and I will outbeat them 100%. And I say that now because I'm 46, 47 years old, and I'm confident enough that I know how to influence people and build relationships better than anybody else. But I've studied influence. I've gone to courses. I've spent the last 5 years of my time studying how to influence people with integrity. That doesn't mean take advantage of them. Absolutely no. How to influence them, how to become friends with those people, how to have a good conversation so that they feel heard, listened, and understood and important to you. Like, I love Jen. Jen's a part of my relationship now, part of my ecosystem. And me and Jen have conversations that have nothing to do about business.
Nothing.
But that's what it's all about. That's how our relationship got better. We talk a lot about business, but we talk a lot about nothing to do with business, which is beautiful in itself. So learn how to build relationships, and you're going to outbeat everybody else. I promise you.
And the only thing I would add to that, and because I know you, Andy P., practice getting the fear out of it. Practice that playing small. Like, who am I to show up and put out these big ideas? Who am I to do that? We have to eliminate that from our thinking, not have any fear of, if they laugh at us, they're not our people. Next. That's it. and show up fully, show up so empowered, show up as that future version of yourself, because it already exists. Every resource you need, every skill set, everything is literally right here right now if you decide that you own it. You may not be perfect, and it gets better and better, but just move forward as if it already is, because it is. And that's not some woo-woo stuff. You decide you're the world-class direct marketer, you're the world-class direct marketer. And that's what it is. And that's the thing about Andy Zapata. He decided, and listen, I know a lot of physical therapists, I know a lot of occupational therapists, and most of them are very much struggling to get by. It's almost close to minimum wage, not much higher than that. And very, very few of them make the decisions and the moves that Andy did. And he did it. And let's get into this question. For someone who's afraid that they don't have enough capital to start or to keep going, what would you tell them, Andy, based on your starting this with a 10K credit card?
Listen, I learned how to start companies with zero money. I mean, to open a company, let's think about it. You put $100 to open a corporation, $0 to open a tax ID, $0 to open a bank account. Boom. With $150, you just got your first business. That's how simple it is. Now, how do you buy product? You got to get a little creative. But I've built, Jen, over 10 companies that are multi-million-dollar companies right now with zero money.
I know.
With zero money. It takes longer. It takes more creativity. It takes more patience. But it's always possible.
And cojones.
And a little bit of no fear, a little bit of cojones. So, for example, Jen, I want to partner with you. This is a real quick example. Jen, if I can bring you people to your network and to your coaching program, can I get a cut of that? Yeah?
Yeah.
Boom. I just got my first business and I started with zero money. So merging with people, building relationships with people, with companies, and taking a piece and using that piece to reinvest it and grow, you just open up a business. That's how simple thing is. You can open up a business with zero money, very little, a couple $100, and make it very successful. Just stay focused. Stay focused. Don't get distracted by the shiny object syndrome.
So let's talk a little bit about scaling for a second, because I know that I have people on here who are also at a different level. At what point did you realize you needed to stop being the one who was managing all the things and to start shifting into being true visionary, true CEO, and bring in a COO and scale from that perspective where it's not all on your back?
It's painful.
That's true scaling. You can't scale the other way.
It's painful because here's what happens in your mindset. Okay, I'm the entrepreneur, and this is very important what I'm going to drop here. I'm the entrepreneur. I'm the one that knows how to do this. I'm the best. People tell me I'm the best. They tell me if I don't make the product, if I don't answer the calls, if I don't do the therapy, this is not going to work out. So everybody's telling you you're the best, you're the dude, you're the guy, you're amazing. So why would I hire somebody else to do this? It is so painful to put somebody else in your role. And it's even more painful to see them making more money as an employee than I'm the owner. Like I'm making 30 grand and this guy's making 100 grand. That was so painful to me. It's like, but I can do that job. I'm the therapist. Why am I making $30,000 a year when I have this little profit, and all of a sudden the therapist is making 100,000, 70,000? Like, this doesn't make sense. Yeah. It's so painful. But then you just have to focus on growing your business and not being the technician. If you focus on this is why physicians stay broke. This is why attorneys stay broke. And they're attorneys is because they focus on the trade. Don't focus, learn the trade, learn how it is. By the way, you don't have to do. Now I open up companies. I have zero idea what a radio station, how it operates. I don't even know how radio stations operate, like wavelengths and things, but I own one of the biggest radio stations. But now I learned the skill of building a business, working on your business and not in your business. Like the E-Myth, that book, famous by Michael Gerber. Work on your business. Focus. Don't be the technician. You don't need to be the superstar. Being the superstar is just filling your ego up. Forget about your ego. Focus on the business. So this is how you start scaling. That's the first thing to scaling. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just a couple of things there. Uh, you're working for your future money. If you're, if you're behaving at the level of where you're incoming now, you will always be at this level of income. But if your behaviors, actions, choices, and everything that you do is operating at that future income level, then there's no ceiling. Then there's no ceiling. This is the same thing I say with people who are afraid to go live or afraid to be more visible. Speak to your reach. Don't speak to the exact audience right here, right now, because you have no idea who you're going to impact. But it's the same thing with money. If you're operating right now with what your income or what your bank account looks like, or, then that's what you're attracting and that's what you're going to get. But operating for that future income, acting like the millionaire, if that's what you want to be, making those decisions and choices like that millionaire version of yourself does. Not recklessly, but with grit. I love it.
Yeah, you have to listen. Every level has a devil. This is what I like to say.
I love that.
Has a devil. And every time you step up, you got to face different fears and different devils that are going to come after you, and sharks that are going to come after you. You're making a 500,000, you got a couple of little demons after you. You make $1 million, you're going to have bigger demons. You have a 5 million, 20 million, $100 million company, you got to fear different devils, and you got to become a different person to deal with those devils. Now, learning how to delegate, there's a lot of books on this. It's very simple. Just let somebody do it and have good accountability with what you teach me. And you're going to have certain limits that you're going to plateau at. And you're going to have people to help you. Like, this is where you came in, Jen. We're making $20 million in one of the companies, and we wouldn't break it for the last 4 years. Now things are starting to go smooth. We have a lot more clarity. We were lost in the dust, in the noise. Boom. Jen came, fixed all the noise, fixed all the dust. Clarity now. Everybody's working like a machine. It's beautiful.
Well, and the beautiful part of that was identifying your new COO, your amazing, incredible, talented, smart, bigger pair of cojones than anybody I know, wife, Andy Zapata. She is amazing. So I had to make sure I said that live here today, because that is the best hire you ever made, was marrying that woman.
Yes, she's incredible, entrepreneur, COO. She has
badass mom, amazing wife.
Incredible. Like, she is A woman all the way around. Very proud of her and what we've been able to achieve together, all three of us. And can't wait for the next year to see what's going to come. But she is a rock star. Absolutely.
She is a rock star. But I cut you off. Were you trying to say something else?
No, I mean, in scaling, you have, number one, you have to just show up, keep going, stay focused on your business. Don't be scared to hire people that have done it before. Don't be scared to ask questions. Here's one thing I learned about successful people. They want to share. They want to share. They want to come on these podcasts. They want to tell you how it's done. And now, Jen, this is very important. We're living in a time which is the best time in human mankind. Why? You have everything you ever want on your phone. You want to learn how to become an entrepreneur? YouTube it. You want to learn how to get out of your fears? YouTube it. You want to learn how to, open a multi-million-dollar company? Ask AI, ChatGPT. Like, we are living in an abundance of answers, and it's so much answers that you're like, oh, what do I do? You kind of get bogged down. Don't. Focus on all those answers and execute. You can do anything right now you want. There's going to be more millionaires in the next couple of years and billionaires than ever before. Yep. I don't know if you noticed, but the amount of billionaires and millionaires are duplicating and triplicating faster than any time in life. Why? Because you have all the answers. Just take out all the noise, focus on what you want to do.
And the fear. Take out the fear.
Pick one lane, take out the fear. Who cares that you fail? Nobody gives a crap if you fail, only you. So stop. Just do it. It's really just do it.
Nancy wants advice on how to position. She's a corporate gifter. She does an amazing job. How to position her services so that executives see her as an essential part of their business and success.
I would say learn how to build relationships with people that are going to buy masses amount of gifts. For example, go to CEOs like myself and say, hey, Andy, can I take you out for a cup of coffee? Can I come to your office? Can I fly in? Let's go this, let's go that. Here, yesterday somebody came to my office with some delicious, amazing cookies, chocolate chip crumble cookies. Guess what I did with that woman? I gave her 30 minutes of my time. We sat down, we had a great conversation, and those were the best cookies of my life. I actually still thinking about them. But just something so simple, a cup of coffee and some cookies will go. But learn how to build relationships. And when you're building a relationship, I'm going to give you 3 little quick things. Ask people about themselves. For example, if I was to come and walk into Jen's office, I would acknowledge her. Jen, thank you so much for giving me the time. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I know you're crunching time, but can I ask you just a couple questions? How did you get this whole thing started? Because people want to feel important. And you have to be genuinely from your heart interested. So I would be genuinely interested in how Jen started her business and where Jen wants to take her business. Because if I have 30 minutes, I'm gonna stick to 25 minutes talking about Jen, not my product. Because you can describe your product in 30 seconds or 1 minute. Anything you do, I don't care who it is, what you do, you can describe your product in less than 30 seconds or 1 minute. 30 to 60 seconds you can describe. So you don't need a lot of time, and everybody knows what everything is. What I want to know is who Jen is. What are her goals? Where does she want to go? And I promise you, that's going to be a lot better than you going in and like, let me tell you about my product. Let me tell you about my system.
Exactly.
Let me tell you about my company. Nobody cares. People want to connect. There's a need for human connection now more than ever. And if you
Get
learn how
curious.
be interested, not
Yeah.
be interesting. This I heard as a long time ago. Be interested in other people and don't be the interesting one. You want to be just like, hey, okay, this is what I do. I would love to be able to service you. I promise you, if you have 30 minutes and you spend 25 minutes talking about the other person's past and future, and you just stay 2 or 3 minutes talking about you, you're going to get the deal. I promise you. There's a lot more to the formula, but that's the basic essence. Make people feel like you're interested in them. Connect at a deeper connection with people. And don't be scared to ask them, like, Jen, how did you do this? Like, tell me more about that. And when they answer, tell me more about that. How did that happen?
Yes.
People are going to
Go
talk.
deep. Go
and
deep.
You start learning how to have beautiful, deep conversations with people. But those are going to be your buyers. Those are going to be your partners. Those are going to be the people that you buy, that they buy from you. Because if you don't know how to connect with them, forget it. Forget it. Just go do SEO, go do pay-per-click, get the funnels and start getting some leads. And yeah, that works. But it's not going to work like this works. This is free, massive growth.
I love it. And I'm going to ask this last question, which Tracy, I think will incorporate yours, but I love this quote that speaks exactly what you said. People will always forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And when you show up and you are interested and you are curious and you're going deep, that's where it all comes from. Really great advice. So looking back, who did you have to become to build this empire? And how is it different from who you were when you started with that 10,000 credit card? And how do you protect your peace in all of it? So who did you become versus who you were? And how do you protect your peace in all of this?
Well, my peace is home. My peace are the kids. My peace is the wife. This is my peace. This is where I want to come home and be peaceful. And as long as nothing can happen to them physically, nothing, that's my peace. Now, another piece of advice is keep your living standards low. Jen, listen, I make millions of dollars, millions, and I can live off $5,000 a month. My whole life. Like, how can you live off $5,000 a month, Andy? This is crazy. And you have so many things. I just keep my expenses low. I live below my means. Now I go on vacation every month. You'll see me on vacation with my wife and my kids, big, but that's because I make the money, and I can spend it. But for many years, keep your expenses low and have a few dollars in the bank that you don't even see. Put it in a different bank account. Put it in a box, in a shoebox if you have to. You don't want, if you live off 5,000, have $25,000 in a different bank that you don't see. Open it, just deposit, and start putting some money there. And that's for emergencies. And you always gonna know, well, I have an emergency little fund, but I don't want to touch it. Don't touch it. Do everything else other than touch that, unless it's really life or death situation. You don't want to touch that, and that's going to give you a lot of peace of mind. And knowing also, Tracy, that nothing can hurt you unless you're physically ill or that you're going to take, skydive to build a relationship. Maybe you might not want to do that because you're going to skydive to build a relationship. But nothing can hurt you if you're not going to die trying. Just try and be peaceful. Nothing can hurt you. No fear. Really, this is going to hurt you more. Your mind is going to hurt you more than any relationship, any person, any shark, any ghost. It's all here. It's all your mind. It's all there. Fix that, and you'll fix everything. And become a different version. I have this fun thing that I do now, Jen. Every birthday, I say, who do I want to become this year? So I'm going to V47 in a month and a half. V47, V46. I grew a beard. I said, I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be this guy. And now I'm thinking of who am I going to be V47, right? And just have fun with who you become. It's like a superhero. What superhero do I want to become now? And stick
exactly. Life. Shakespeare had it right. Life is but a stage, and you can basically decide what character you want to play and what villains you want to fight. This is the hero's journey. There's always going to be the villains, the things that you have to go up against, the things you have to overcome. But you get to decide all of that and really enjoy the process instead of being afraid of it.
Yeah.
Instead of being afraid of it. So good. So I don't know. Yeah, you did answer that question. All right. Because I love Andy Pinto. He just wants to know if you have a suggestion, then we're going to close up on how to break through the clutter with somebody like you to actually get on your calendar. That's the struggle, right? How do I make an impression on a CEO that I can actually get that moment to bring him cookies and do that? How do you do that?
Hey, Andy, how are you? This is Jen from Prosperous Jen. How are you? Oh, I'm doing well. How can I help you? Hey, Jen, I got a quick question. How'd you start your business? I'm a young entrepreneur. If you can just give me 1 minute of your time, how'd you start your business? I just want to ask you, that's congruently unique. That's like, hey, I want to call and sell you an advertisement. I do direct mailing. No. Hey, listen, I'm a direct mailer, but I'm not here to pitch you. I'm not here to sell you. I'm from the neighborhood, and I saw you're very successful entrepreneur. And from one entrepreneur to another, brother. Can I just ask you one quick question? How did you start your business, man? I'm struggling a little bit. Or, hey, listen, I just, I want to ask you and connect with you and build a relationship with you. Like, just be genuinely honest. I want to build a relationship with you. I'm from the neighborhood. I want to see maybe one day, not today. I'm not here to sell you. I just want to build a relationship with entrepreneurs and see, how maybe we can help
you get into that mindset.
How can I help you?
Yeah.
So now when I go to physicians' offices, this is what I do. And this is what I did before. And I rearranged it, and I found a little canal there that I make a lot of relationships. I would go into an attorney's office or a doctor's office, and I would say, hey, Jen, I'm Andy from physical therapy now, but I'm not here to ask for referrals. I'm not like everybody else. How can I help you? What is it that you need help with that I can help you with? Like, what? Well, listen, I asked them about their past. Well, how'd you get this law firm started? How'd you get this medical office started? And I am interested in them. And I said, well, where do you want to go? Well, you have one law firm. You want 3? Do you want 10? Do you want to be in different cities? Oh, yeah. And they just start talking. The more they talk, the more they're going to like you. And then all of a sudden you ask them, well, what are your challenges? I haven't sold anything yet. What are your challenges? Why are you not there yet? Why are you said you want to open 5 law firms. Why are you not there yet? At this moment, I'm identifying what their challenges are. What are they having challenges with? And I can say, oh, wait, you need SEO? I know an SEO guy. Let me make a connection. Because your relationships are currency. Let me say that again. Your relationships are currency. That's why they're called relationship capital. Because if I know an SEO guy, if I know a direct mailer guy, if I know a coach that can help you break through, if I know a person that builds the best websites, I'm going to say, wait a second, let me connect you with my guy.
Yep.
Listen, I do this. I'm a physical therapist. I'm not asking for business. If there's ever any business around here, brother, I would love to treat them, but I just want to build a relationship with you. Now, I just gave you revenue. I just gave you money. I just gave you connections. I just gave you relationships for free. Now, how do you think that's going to make you feel? Number one, I had an incredible relationship with you, conversation. You told me about your past. You told me about your future. I made you feel amazing. I walked away and you ended up with some relationships. Wait a second. Who's this guy, Andy? This guy's amazing. That's all it is. Help people and you will help yourself. Find how to help people. Find what they need. Help them. Don't worry about it. It'll come to you. Give, receive. It's in the Bible. That's it. Give and you shall receive. That's my marketing approach. That's how I build a multi-million-dollar company with that formula.
Love it. So generous of you. You guys, you have no idea how hard it is to get Andy to do one thing for 45 minutes because he is visionary, moving forward. Like I call him a beautiful giant speedboat yacht with a huge wake behind him. So generous of you to give all these tips and take your time with us today. I know we're helped a lot of people and the hundreds of thousands that will see this in the future. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for you and everybody else out there. One thing I will say, and I'm going to put it here again, if you're looking to start a business, most of the advice out there and all of the coaches and all the gurus, they're really for people who are full-time. So if you're making a transition, I want to gift you this blueprint. It is absolutely free. There is zero strings attached. You don't need to register. Just drop a comment or message me, and I want to see you succeed. Everybody, have a great weekend. Andy, so grateful. Great show.
No fear. Thanks, Jen. Have a great day.
Do you have any last message you want to get out there?
Just listen. Nobody cares until you win. Don't be in fear. Fear is going to destroy you. Fear of rejection, fear of failure are your biggest enemies. No fear. Just go, grit, show up. Things will happen. Thank you, everyone.
Amen. Thank you.